road trips. You're going to hear a lot of the story later. He's going to talk a couple times today. He's going to talk about the importance of business trips. Christoph's a guy that I started working with 6 years ago. He's done this business faster and better than almost anybody, if not anybody I've ever seen anywhere in the world. When he was in my office in London, he ran some of the best business trips, the best road trips I've ever seen. In his country that he's overseeing right now, his office, his countries, multiple, he oversees Portugal and Italy. In Italy recently, they've been running weeks where the entire country goes on road trips. They do probably 60% of their production on road trips. Alex, who's just up here, runs an unbelievable road trip. So those are good guys to network with about road trips if you're running your first road trip. Road trips. To get up here and talk to you about business trips, we have Vice President Christoph here.
All right, so we're going to talk about road trips, which are really exciting. You know, coming through the field, my goal really is two things. It's to build an all-star team that's going to follow me wherever I go. And it's to help as many people out as much as humanly possible. And, you know, when guys are deciding do they want to follow somebody to a new city or do they not, like it's a really simple question. It comes down to who's helped them the most, who's made the biggest impact. And they're going to ask themselves, you know, if I go with this person, is my life going to be better? Is my life better off going with this person than it is staying in town? And I think road trips are the biggest opportunity for me to make the biggest impact possible. They're also the biggest opportunity for them to already get their perspective of me as a manager and not as a leader. Why? Because I am a manager for the week. So it gives me a ton of credibility. I make it all this. And you know, road trips are also the most accurate indicator of how you're going to do in management. That's why part of the requirements are that you have to run 2 successful road trips in order to be promoted. The reason why is because we can look at how well you do on a road trip. If you do amazing on a road trip, that means you can do amazing running an office. Why? Because what is a road trip? It's just an office with 5 people in it. And if I get this right, if I get the skill set right, it is the, you know, we're going to talk later about how to get promoted 24 weeks or less. If I get this right, it's a major shortcut in the program. So it's a major way that I can just start more or less like a leadership factory. And I'll explain it to you. So when I worked with Justin, here's basically how it went. I have week 1, I would recruit. Week 2, the people that I started, I take them on a road trip. Cool? From that, they would get promoted. Week 3, I'm in town recruiting again. Week 4, I'm taking the new starts on a road trip. And these guys who got promoted on the first road trip, I'm taking them as leaders. And I'm training them how to run a road trip. After that week, now I've got myself plus at least one other person who is qualified at running a road trip. So every single week, we're going to have people, me or a leader in town recruiting, and at the same time we're going to have people, the new guys, getting promoted to leadership on a road trip. And that just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's a really fast way to create leaders and to build a strong team that's good at sales. The other things we talk about, you know, we talk about retention. Where do you guys lose most people? Where do most people quit? It's not, you know, 6 months down the road. We lose most people that start our business in the first 3 weeks. Some of you guys have seen us run a topic where we talk about what to do in the first month, what to do in the first 3 weeks in order to keep your retention of your new starts as high as possible. And it comes down to 4 things. Fun, money, progression, and relationships. Okay? Now, on a road trip, I maximize all these things. Now, the other way that it helps my retention is, you know, if I start a guy and he goes on a road trip the next week, like that's a week where he can't quit. Do you know what I mean? Like,
jeżeli mam gościa,
a week where he's, I mean, what's so it's gonna buy me some time to get him good, and I maximize all these things. So on the fun side, running road trips is a fucking blast. We work our ass off, but it's really, really fun. We're gonna work our ass off. We're gonna have a ton of money. We're gonna make a ton of money. We're gonna have a ton of fun. I'm excited. We're gonna get excited. 2, money. You should make double the money on a road trip, and your guys should make double the money on a road trip that they make in town. It should literally be about double. 3, progression. They're going to progress way more on a road trip. Why? Well, 1, in the field, they get way more time. So they're going to have a lot more time to get great at making money. But 2, the ratio of leaders to distributors is a lot better. So in the office, you know, 60, 70 people running around, it gets crazy, you've got this going on, this going on, this going on. On a road trip, it's me, another leader, 3 guys, and our only focus is them. So we can definitely get them to go and get a lot more one-on-one time than we could in time. And then relationships, you know, relationships are about time. How much time do you spend with a person? How much time outside of the office do you spend with a person? Well, on a road trip, they're with me for 24 hours a day for 6 days. That's a lot of time. And you know, they're not coming home to a negative girlfriend or a negative parent or a negative situation. They're coming home to me, and I'm excited, and I'm going to make a great impact, and we're gonna build a relationship out of this. So, as a retention tool, it's just like a way to turbocharge your business. The goal of a road trip. 4 goals of a road trip. Number 1. Sales. How many sales are we going to do? We're going to beat the record. And the next road trip we run, we're going to beat that record. We're going to beat the record every single time. Again, we're going to double the money everybody would make in town, at least. By the time I get good at this, if I go on a road trip, I should be able to do triple. You know, Alex is a great example of this. You know, he'll, in town, if he works, when he was a leader, he was doing 30 sales. He'd go on a road trip, he'd do 100. So, when you get really good in the field, we should double or triple the money. 2. Every distributor gets promoted. Every single one of them. Hits all the requirements, is super fired up, is super hungry, and gets promoted. Number 3, after the road trip, when these people come back in town, they're going to ring the bell every day now. So I'm going to teach them how to ring the bell in town by taking them on a road trip and teach them how to ring the bell twice in a day. If I can teach them how to ring the bell twice on a road trip, they should at least be able to cover 50% of that when they come back in town. So now they're ringing the bell every single day. Goal number 4 is to replace myself. As I'm doing this, I'm teaching another leader how to do what I'm doing so that the next time we have an opportunity for a road trip, they can run it and it can be equally as good. Alright, so getting into some of the technical things. A road trip, a lot of how successful your road trip is going to be determined by what you do the week before the road trip. You have to be unbelievably prepared to run an effective quality road trip. So,
jak dobry będzie twój road trip zależy od tygodnia, który poprzedzał road trip, jak
the
dobrze
week
się
before,
do road tripa przygotujesz.
You have to do 10 things.
Potrzebujesz zrobić 10 rzeczy.
Number 1.
Numer 1.
I'm going to cut the maps.
Przygotować mapę.
I get my town, I get it approved, I look it up, I cut all the maps. I got 5 people, that's 6 days, that's 30 maps. I'm going to cut 10 extras, and I'm going to cut them big. Because we're going to be putting on more people than we do in town because we've got more time in the field. When I cut the maps, I'm also going to assign the names for each person that's going, where they're going each day. When I do this, I want to make sure that, you know, if this is one territory, here's another, and here's another. I want to put leaders in between distributors.
Chcę włożyć liderów między dystrybutorami.
Why? Because there might be a point in the road trip where a distributor needs to come over to the leader and get some help.
Więc może być taki moment na road
If I put 2 distributors next to each other,
żeby mu pomóc.
The tendency is that they'll somehow end up meeting up, and that's always negative.
Więc nie chcę, żeby skończyli, że 2 dystrybutorów się spotkało.
The next thing with the maps. if the hotel is here, or where I'm staying is here, and our territory is all this, I want to work hour to enter. So I want to start the week with the farthest away places, and then end the week with the close. Why? Let's say we have to walk to the field, and this walk is, I don't know, 30 minutes.
Powiedzmy, że trzeba iść na piechotę.
I'd rather the walk get shorter every day than it get longer every day. Does that make sense? So as you're getting better at sales throughout the week, you're also getting more time because the walk's shorter. Two, crazy stuff can happen on road trips. Like blizzards can come and shit can get all fucked up, or people go on strike or whatever. I want to reserve the closest shit for if that happens, right? So if a blizzard comes and we can't drive, which has happened, then we need to make sure that the shit around us is not already working, so that we can walk to that territory.
Okay.
So that's maps. That's number one. Number two.
Mapy numer 1, teraz numer 2.
The final list of the people that are going, and that's completely final.
Zamknięta lista osób, które jadą, kompletnie zamknięta.
No one can back out of a road trip. Everyone has to come in and go. So how do I do this? I start early in the week. I want to have that list completed by Wednesday. And then I want to sit down. I want to get an opportunity where each individual person that's going, I'm going to sit down with them and the manager. And the manager can give them an impact about, you know, this is great for you, and here's everything you're going to learn. You're really lucky to go on a road trip with Christoph, etc. Start to set up some goals so that it would be super uncomfortable and inappropriate if he changed his mind and said, I don't want to go. Does that make sense? So I need a final list of people. 3, I need accommodation.
Potrzebuję zakwaterowanie.
What's the most important thing about accommodation? Price. It needs to be cheap.
Co jest najważniejsze w zakwaterowaniu? Cena, musi być tanio.
Get creative with this, you know. When I started, we weren't very creative, and we would just get a little room at the travel lodge, and we'd shove 8 motherfuckers in there. And you know, now you know, guys are a lot more creative. We've got these places, you know, on the internet that you can rent out for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks at a time. It comes down to a really cheap price. So we're doing that. Our guys rent out trailers. Sometimes get great deals in hospitals, but it needs to be cheap. And again, preferably. Around it is shit that I can work. It's territory. Right around it that we can walk to in case something goes wrong. 4, I need to have written down in a book impacts, selection of impacts that I might run, given different situations, and morning meetings. So I'm going through this all week. I want to be super prepared. So what if we have a really terrible day in sales? I want to know what kind of impact I should run the next day, what kind of morning meeting I should run the next day. What if a couple people do amazing, ring the bell 3 times, and a couple people do shit? What kind of morning meeting would I want to run? What if we're doing amazing and we're on track to break the record? What kind of meeting do I want to run there? I want to be prepared for every situation. And I want to have that at my disposal. I don't want to be freaking out the night before, saying, oh, I don't know what kind of meeting to run. I want all this to be prepared, ready to go. The more prepared it is, the better it's going to be. Number 5, travel.
Numer 5, podróż.
Two kinds of travel I need to figure out. 1, how are we getting from the office to the road trip?
Pierwszy rodzaj transportu, który muszę ogarnąć, to jest jak się dostać z biura.
2 is how are we getting from our accommodation to the territory.
I drugi transport, który muszę przygotować, to jest jak podróżować z zakwaterowaniem.
If this is by car, great. Confirm that. Make sure that there's no possibility that at the last moment they say, oh, I can't take my car or whatever. Confirm the shit out of the car. And have a backup plan. If something happens and the car breaks down, have another car ready to go, or have a backup plan. If it's trains and buses, especially if it's buses, you need to do your research before you go to figure out what buses we're going to take, what times they go, how we're going to get there. Just got to be super planned out. You don't want to be figuring out anything at the moment once you get there. Next, number 6 is I need to figure out how am I going to mail my applications back to the owner.
W jaki sposób będę wysyłał aplikację do biura?
So I need to do that. Depending on the campaign, you as a road trip leader might have to do that every single day. You might only have to do it once. You might do it twice. Depends on the campaign. But I need to know how that works. So either I've got to arrange for a courier service to come to the hotel, or I've got to arrange for myself to go to places like mailboxes, etc., or FedEx, or wherever. I need to look that up, know where that is, and how I'm going to get there.
Cokolwiek, co przesyła korespondencję paczkową.
That's 6. Number 7 is cost.
Numer 7, koszty.
Everybody needs to know beforehand How much is it going to cost each person?
Ile będzie kosztować na każdą głowę rok?
The way I did it when I was in the field, is the
W
leaders
jaki
paid.
sposób robi to Christoph, kiedy był w terenie?
We covered it. So if I had a leader in my crew, he paid his share, I'd pay my share plus the new guy's share.
Więc
jeżeli
miałem lidera nowego w teamie, opłacić swoją część i razem
It's just a much better situation. You know, if you're a brand new guy, it sucks if your leader's coming up to you and say, hey, let's go, this is going to be amazing. Oh, well, I need 100 euros. You know what I mean? Like that sucks. The best thing to do is just get fucking right at the field so you can pay for the whole thing. If you can't do that with the new guy, then at least work out some sort of thing where you're going to pay for it now, and then when his paycheck comes in, you know, the manager will take it off that, something like that. Does that make sense? Or maybe the first 5 sales that he does go in your name. But he generally is not going to be able to pay up front, and I don't want to. So that's 8. Pay.
8 to jest sposób płatności.
Number 9 is police.
Numer 9.
Email them. Even if you're already approved by your charity or whatever, find out the local police department, let them know that you're coming, send them whatever documentation they need. The last thing that I want on a road trip is a whole fucking day to be wasted because somebody called the cops, and the cops came, sat me on the curb for 6 fucking hours, ruined my day. Like, that's the last thing I want to happen, and it can all be solved with just one simple email saying, hey, we're going to be up in your town, here's what we're doing. Number 9 is network. So I want to know who else is running a road trip. I want to know where the next best guy in the country is running a road trip, and I want to start talking shit and talking trash and getting competition going even before the road trip goes, right? So this is going to be a competition to break the record. It's also going to be a competition with this guy, the other side of the road trip. I'm going to get that crew on Skype. With my crew, we're going to talk shit to each other, and we're going to beat your ass, we're going to have challenges, all that. Number 10. Number 10, this is like a religion. I have to talk to my manager 3 times every single day on a road trip. I don't care where you are, I don't care what the reception's like. It is super important that 3 times every day I'm on the phone with the manager. When are those going to be? 1 is going to be in the morning before you run the morning meeting.
Po pierwsze to jest rano, zanim zrobię morning meeting.
Or before atmosphere starts.
Zanim się zacznie
So you can just run through the plan again with him real quick. Here's what I'm doing with the impact, here's what I'm doing with the morning meeting. He can talk about everything. 2 is at lunch, after you've dropped off everybody else, and we're finished with lunch, I'm going to call him and give him what the numbers are so far. Here's how everybody's doing. Depending on the situation, he's going to give me some specific advice based on those numbers. And number 3 is at night.
I numer 3 to jest wieczorem, w nocy.
To give him a report of how much production you did.
Żeby dać raport, jaka była produkcja, jak
When I was running office, if I didn't get one of those phone calls, then I just shut down the road trip. And that guy was not going to run a road trip for a month, or 2 months, or 3 months.
Christopha było tak, że jak ktoś nie zrealizował telefonów, to gość w ogóle...
Alright, so that's the week before.
Roadtrip zamknięty, nie prowadził tripów przez 2 miesiące.
Cool?
Spoko?
Yeah, so the last call is after setups, after you scrubbed everything. Hey, here's production for each person, here's the gauges, so he can fill that out in his production log. And also he's going to need to know what the gauges are to help you prepare for the morning meeting and the impacts for the following day. Okay, number 4. Stuff that you need to bring with you. When you go on a road trip, you need to bring applications.
What?
Applications, contracts.
Aplikacje, oczywiście.
Cool. You laugh, but we've had people go out and get up there and say, oh shit, we forgot the fucking apps. Great fucking start to the road trip. Alright, how many apps do I want? As many as the manager will let me take. Cool? I want to be able to give every guy fucking 30 apps every day in case he fucking goes out. Cool? The minimum amount that I need is enough that we can break the record and still have voids. Cool?
Minimum aplikacji, które chcę zabrać, to jest tak, żebyśmy byli w stanie pobić rekord, mieć jeszcze
2, bring the maps that you cut and bring the master map.
Więc wziąć są mapy.
3, any kind of supporting documents or literature, like this is, again, it's campaign specific. So what kind of stuff? Do I need an extra tariff sheet? Do I need to bring, you know, the clothing for the charity? Whatever else it is, welcome packs, anything like that that's necessary to sell, I want to bring that.
Identyfikatory, numery sprzedażowe, jakieś tam ulotki,
Number 4, badges, identification.
Pani się daje.
Super important.
What for?
Badges, IDs.
Yeah.
Boom. Number 5.
Numer
Some sort of machine that can play music.
Jakieś urządzenie, które wytwarza muzykę.
Whether that's a radio or CD player or
Może
an
być
iPod, whatever.
radio, CD, boombox, cokolwiek.
Cool. I want to, like, who here would be excited if you could pick the atmosphere music every day? Who here doesn't like the atmosphere music in your deal? Yeah, unfortunately, it's not your call. On the road trip, you can put your playlist together, you can get the tracks, and put my favorite, most exciting songs that's going to pump me up, and it's going to pump up y'all. 6. Whiteboard markers.
Marker do tablic.
Whiteboard markers.
Marker do tablic.
Cool. If you have a portable whiteboard, bring it.
Jeżeli masz kieszonkową białą tablicę, weź też.
7.
7.
I like to bring a DVD or two, specifically for maybe like Sunday night. Makes sense? Or maybe team night. Maybe that's what we do. If we hit our goal, watch DVD. What kind? I want something with sports, something inspirational, something that's going to make people want to sell.
Więc jeżeli jest dobrze, to wziąć od kogoś DVD, obejrzeć coś sportowego, inspirującego, gdzieś jest zawodnictwo, gdzieś jest pompa, coś co może inspirować. Niedzielę wieczór, albo czwartek grafika.
Okay, and last one. Optional. Some people do it. I think it's smart. Food.
I niektórzy ludzie to robią, niektórzy nie, ale myślę, że jest to bardzo ważne jedzenie.
I think it's really smart because it drives down the cost and it keeps you from having to drive and eat out all night. They love doing this in Italy. They'll usually get a place that has a kitchen and the manager's there at the end of the night cooking up pasta for everybody's cool.
Może gdzieś tam jest jakaś kuchnia w zakwaterowaniu, można być robić kolację dla wszystkich, śniadanie, zajebiście fajnie.
Alright, schedule. So we've gone over exactly what to do the week before. Next schedule. Road trip actually for me starts on Saturday.
Dla mnie road trip zaczyna się w sobotę.
I want to meet up with the crew Saturday after the field.
Chcę się
I want to
spotkać
get
z
them
zawodem w
super
sobotę
motivated
po
about the
terenie.
trip.
Przygotować wszystko.
I'm going to cover very clearly what time everybody has to be at the office
Chcę pokryć
tomorrow.
bardzo wyraźnie, o której godzinie spotkamy się w biurze.
And I'm going to go ahead, this is where we're going to fill out our rhino sheets and our goal sheets for the week and what we
Chcę
want to
powiedzieć,
accomplish
jakie
this
są nasze
week.
cele indywidualne, grupowe.
If I can get the manager to sit in with me on that, awesome.
Jeżeli dostajesz do managementu i pojedziecie do tego miasta, to zajebiście.
Sunday happens.
Niedzielne nawyki? Sunday habits?
I want to leave early if I can. I want to get to where we're going by like 6 o'clock preferably.
Chcę się dostać na miejsce przed
Because that gives me enough time where we can settle in, watch a movie, and still get plenty of sleep. We're going to need it. Cool, because we're not going to have very much rest.
tak szybko jak się da, czyli mniej więcej najpóźniej po godzinie 6-7.
When we get to the office on Sunday, I should be
Chcę
meeting
się zdążyć wyspać.
with either my manager or an assistant manager to send off the road trip.
I ustawić menadżera albo asystenta
If
menadżera,
that's
żeby...
not happening, that is incorrect, let me know who your owner is, I will fix it. So, at that meeting, here's what the manager is going to say.
Na tym meetingu to jest to, co powie menadżer.
It's going to be some version of this. Congratulations on being selected. This is a great opportunity for you. And it shows that we put a lot of trust in you to represent our client remotely.
Więc
2, he's going to transfer the power to you. So Johnny here is running the road trip. He's going to be the manager for the week.
Bardzo gratuluję, zostałeś dyplomowany.
He's great for A, B, and C, and D reasons. And you're really lucky because of A, B, C, and D. Anything that you wouldn't, the same respect that you give to me, I want you to give it to him for this week. The same way you're going to respect him, I need you to respect the business. So anything that you wouldn't do in this office, you can't do there. So in this office, you wouldn't leave atmosphere to go to the bathroom. So on the road trip, you can't leave atmosphere to go to the bathroom.
Tutaj w tym biurze nie możesz opuścić do stołu, żeby iść do...
Then I'm going to tell you about the rules. The rules are simple. 1, no drinking. 2, no fucking.
2, nie pierdolić.
3, no drugs.
Żadnych narkotyków, numer 3.
4, accommodation. Have respect for it. Don't tear up the hotel. That sort of thing.
Hotelu i szacunek dla zakwaterowania.
Don't advertise to the hotel.
Nie reklamujcie klienta w hotelu.
Why? Because if they get pissed off, then who are they calling? They're calling our client. That's very fucking bad for
Po
us.
pierwsze, jak się wkurwią, to do kogo zadzwonią, to swojego
And I want to be smart about the accommodation. So if I'm putting 8 people into a hotel room, obviously we don't want to show up 8 deep at the front desk because they're going to have a problem with that. Does that make sense? So I just got to use my brain. And the last thing in this, if someone's driving, it's important that someone's always keeping him engaged, making sure that he's awake or that we're rotating, especially on long trips, and especially on Saturday night coming back. You know, we have unfortunately had wrecks in the past. Usually every year we have 1 or 2 where the guy falls asleep Saturday night, coming back because somebody wasn't there next to him awake, making sure that didn't happen. So let's stay safe. All right, on next part on Sunday. So now we're on the ride up. I'm not sleeping. I'm not with my headphones in. I'm getting everybody motivated. We're talking about what the goals are for this week. We're talking about what they're going to name their company when they open up, what city they want to open in. Especially for the new guys, I'll ask them a bunch of questions and get them to basically tell their whole life story in the car ride up. So now, by the time we get there, we already know each other, right? We know about their personal life, we know about their goals, we know about what they want to accomplish. We're super excited. When we arrive, check in, sit everybody down, and I explain what the schedule is going to be. So, what's really important is I get the shower schedule right. Cool, especially if this is a big trip and you're going out 1 shower. So, the golden rule is that atmosphere's got to start at 9 a.m. and when atmosphere starts, right? Usually it's 9 a.m. But you may have to adjust that. I need to be knocking on my first door at 10 a.m.
Muszę pukać do pierwszych drzwi o 10 rano, to też jest zasada.
So I may have to adjust the schedule, but when atmosphere starts. It's not somebody still in the bathroom taking a shower. There's not somebody just finishing up putting on their tie. There's not somebody, whatever. So I want to ask each person how long does it take for you to get in and out of the shower. I want to be the first person up. I'm taking the first shower, right?
Ja jako osoba, która prowadzi lotnik, chcę być pierwszy rano na nogach, chcę pierwszy się wykąpać, chcę pierwszy.
While the last guy's in the shower, I'm gonna go call my manager. Put this aside for today. Atmosphere starts. I do atmosphere for 30 minutes. Some situations maybe 40. Depending on how much product information is on my client. You know, if there's a ton of product information, we'll do like a 45-minute atmosphere. If not, we'll do a 30-minute atmosphere. And it's like powerful, intense, super short, but super intense. There's a 5-minute impact in between. But 30 minutes, we're all used up. Start the morning meeting. Like I said, we need to be knocking by 10. So you'll have to ring the schedule. 30 minutes for atmosphere. I start the morning meeting. Now on the first day, I'm going to run it, obviously, and you know, it's not really going to be any announcements. From Tuesday on, obviously I'm going to be the high roller because I'm running the fucking trip. But I don't want to call out my own voice. That's weird, right? So the leader that I'm training, he's going to be the one that does the announcements and gives recognition to everybody who rang the bell, and then says, oh yeah, and then you know, here's Johnny running the trip. Did 80 sales yesterday, whatever it is, right? Alright, we get out there, we're knocking by 10 a.m. Cool? When I hit the field, especially on Monday, my number one job is to do like 3 bells. That's my job. I need to fucking high roll like fucking crazy. So I'm just retardedly working. Like to an just fucking ridiculous level. Why? Because if everybody else does shit, if you know, I don't know, let's say your bell's 3, if everybody else does shit on the first day, but you come back with 10, then the rest of the trip's pretty easy because right away, everyone is saying, oh, well, if he can do 10, we can at least do half that, right? If I don't high roll on one day, that could be a seriously negative, fucked up situation because now, this new guy didn't do any sales, and he's looking at the guy running, and he didn't do any sales, and he says, well, he's running the motherfucker. If he can't do it, I'm screwed, right? So I've got to high roll on the field. It's not optional. Cool? At 2 o'clock, we're going to have lunch. It is important to have lunch on a road trip. Cool? You're taking a lot more no's on a road trip than normal. And we are working more hours than they're used to. So I have to put a break in there. and I need to know what's going on with each of them. So just like a normal lunch,
Więc tak jak normalny
we're gonna meet up. We're gonna be really excited. It's not gonna be that long. Well, I do want to take a chance to sit down with each and every individual person and go through their cages. And it's like halftime, you know, locker room. Let's get you pumped up. Bring them to negatives.
Przerwa, szatnia, pompa.
Then I send them back to the field. Who do I call? Manager, right? Tell him what's going on. And then I'm going to get specific advice from him. In some situations, maybe it's 6 o'clock and we got 2 hours left and this guy's negging out. Maybe in some situations, it would be appropriate for that guy to come meet up with you and you give him a little help. But you need to be talking to your manager to know. No move like that is a do I do unless it's approved by my manager. Cool? It's not mine yet. Again, we're going to destroy the field. We're going to murder it. My last door. When is my last door? My last door is however long I can work legally on that campaign without really pissing people off. Cool? So, I know there's rules now in some places and you can't work past 8. If that is a campaign rule and you can't do it, follow the rules. When I was running road trips, we didn't have rules like that, so we knocked till 10 o'clock. Because that was about the latest you could go without people answering the door ready to fight. We're going to meet up. After that, where are we going to go? We are not going to go get food. We are not stopping at the supermarket. What do you do when you're in town? When you're done knocking, you go directly to the office, right? I'm going to do exactly the same fucking thing. We are going to go directly back to the hotel. Again, same kind of thing. Oh man, day was great, we're pumping people up. We're going to get back and we're going to start PM atmosphere. I'm going to do the settle-ups. Where am I going to do them? I'm going to do them in the back room. Why? Because I don't want one. If I'm in the bathroom, nobody can fucking leave atmosphere to go to the bathroom. It's number one, right? It's easy. Number two, it's like probably, especially in a small place, the only real place I'm going to have any privacy. I don't want to do it in the corner atmosphere. Is maybe we need to have a conversation with each person individually. Cool?
To robię w tym pokoju, żeby mieć każdą rozmowę indywidualnie. Jak tam będę siedział, to nie będzie po historii, bo będziemy przejść na background. W tym momencie mogę indywidualnie z każdym porozmawiać,
So we do the settle-ups, I get all the gauges, I screw up the apps, cool, I make sure that they're all real, filled out correctly. Then I'll walk back into, at that time atmosphere should be done, after I'm done with the settle-ups, I'll walk back in there, I'll make a couple announcements, hey, juice by this kid, fucking ringing the bell twice on his first day out, you know, whatever it is, give some recognition, some high fives, and then atmosphere's over. We stop. We chill out, we relax, that's maybe we would go get some food, whatever, and then we get to bed early. You should want to. If you're not completely fucking exhausted, then you're not doing it correctly. Everyone should be so exhausted, just collapse into bed, everyone's instantly asleep, and we are going to need the sleep to perform at a high level. Cool? So that's it, guys. You know, the other thing, so this is a great opportunity for me to build a team quickly, to make a huge impact. It's also the best way to become an expert at the field the fastest. One reason I always loved going to road trips is because I knew that if I was going to become great, I needed to become a top 5 rep. Preferably number 1, but at least top 5. And road trip's the fastest way to do it. I don't have any distractions, I don't have any retrains, I don't have any observations. I can literally sweat every single door all day long, and it's just, you know, me versus the fucking field, and I'm going to win. And that's how I'm going to climb to the top of the bowl. So, that's it guys, that's road trips.